And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, we got a great show that we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about the No King's Day, and we're going to follow up with the illegal migrants who continue to invade our city. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. You're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Thank you. And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, first let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's Yahusha in Hebrew. But let me say this. The illegal migrants have just been going crazy looking for sympathy. If you come to this country and you come illegally, you will be deported. This is the main reason why the government shutdown is going. And to the American people and patriots across this country, the Democrats have continued to hold our citizens hostage because they want over $1 trillion for illegals in health care. J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson here in Chicago continue to allocate, steal money, teach migrants, hiding them, and all the bad things that they can do against the American people and patriots across this country. So that's going to be our discussion today. I got a great panel. I'm going to get them in, and we're going to discuss what's going on in Chicago and around the country with the illegals, and we're going to talk about what we need to talk about. Let me get my panel in. What's up, Randy?
Hey, good morning. Good evening. All that good stuff. Good day.
How you guys doing?
Wherever you are in the world.
What's up, Mr. Biggie?
I'm near, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm near the Senate Hart building right now.
Good. Now, guys, let me tell you something. This whole illegal thing with the No King's Day was a total disaster for the Democrats. They thought that they were really going to move a lot of people, especially black people. Black people, it was maybe one or two or three that was in the crowd, those who have this sympathy thing going on for illegals. And my thoughts is this. If you came to the country, you broke the law, and you do not need to be here because you are here illegally. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that you have no rights as an illegal in our country. And so a lot of people, especially some black people I've talked to, they feeling sorry for the illegals, saying that ICE is, overstepping their boundaries, but ICE is only doing their job. And those black people who are saying these things don't really understand the dynamics that the Democrats open these borders. They brought illegals in to replace black people. And here we are, trillions of dollars in debt. And the black community is being overran by illegals with crime trafficking, drugs, you name it. And this governor, J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, should be arrested and put in prison for breaking federal law. Your thoughts on that, Randy?
I 1000% agree. You know, the problem is that with black folks is having sympathy for this. You're right. They don't understand and they don't see. They're insulated. Okay, they're not having to deal with the issue. They can go to work. They got a secure job. They live in a gated community, and so they're not seeing, you know, the ramifications of the illegal drug use, the illegals bringing drugs into the communities, crime, and everything else. All they see is, oh, well, you know, ICE is coming here rounding up these nice people that are just trying to find a way. And America is an open society, which is a George Soros talking point. And so
Yes.
they get confused and they don't know what they're talking about. And so I feel bad for them because they're on the wrong side of history on this one. And they're gonna for the most part, black folks stayed home during the No Kings rally. So it is what it is.
Your thoughts on that, Dre?
Well, here's my whole thing. They are within their right to protest. It just wasn't a successful one. They did have some numbers, but from what I've been seeing and hearing from other people, they had a lot of people represented by what they call the boomer generation. There were not a whole bunch of minorities represented. So it's an interesting concept of what we're seeing in the country, because usually one of the voter blocks that the Democrats need are Black Americans. And if you're not getting that support for this No Kings rally, then you have to question the direction of that movement.
Mr. Beaky, your thoughts?
Well, we can go all the way back to the Constitutional Convention, and at that convention there, even though there was only 13 states, they still had the idea that we can't have 13 separate different rules for immigration. So that's why the states gave the federal government the power, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. Okay, so since the states gave up that power, they have no say-so on immigration. That means sanctuary cities. They don't exist. They can't exist because there is federal law. So what you've got is cities, states, mayors, and governors that are breaking the law. They're criminals. So they should be arrested. We went through all this with Trump on his last seat in office, where they went after him for everything under the sun. And then after he was out of office, they still went after him. And they're telling everybody that he was breaking the law. He's doing it, and he wasn't. But we've got states like California right now. They've got apps out that are telling people where ICE is, how to fight with them. Wait a minute here, that's a crime, and as you said, they should be arrested. The evidence against them right now is overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Will they be arrested? Who knows?
Well, I look at both sides of this thing, and there's only one side that you can take. That if you are here illegally, you need to be sent home. But the saddest thing of it is that a lot of these illegals have been here for a couple of years, and they are continuing to commit crimes. They're continuing to kill American people. And so this is the problem that I'm having. No American should be dying because an illegal couldn't drive or that they belong to the gangs and stuff that are here. This is the big problem for me. If you want to come to the country, back up and come legally, just like all the other immigrants did that came to this country. But I want to play a clip. Dre, you sent me a clip, and we're going to talk about this right away.
Absolutely.
His death was in the country illegally and had already been deported twice.
Only on WRAL, Sarah Kruger spoke with the victim's family, who feels like the system failed them time and time again.
This is where that hit and run happened, here on Chalk Level Road. Richard Ferguson's family says he had just gotten off the bus to head home. For many reasons, they feel like this crash never should have happened.
My brother was a wonderful person.
Speaking to me by Zoom from out of town.
My best friend, my spiritual advisor. We were like twins.
2 of the 11 surviving siblings of Richard Ferguson Jr. described him as a loving person and hard worker. He was in his 26th year working for the Durham Housing Authority. Around 11 p.m. September 13th, family says he had just stepped off the bus on his way home from his second job at Dollar General. Police say 30-year-old Wilmer Mejia ran off the road, hit 2 signs, and then hit Ferguson.
He didn't deserve to get hit and killed and leave this early. He didn't deserve none of this.
Police say Mejia was driving with a revoked license. He's charged with that, hit and run, and involuntary manslaughter. WRAL was the only media there when he appeared in court by video earlier this month.
Driving with license revoked, impaired revocation.
It was there, the prosecutor said, Mejia has been deported twice. ICE confirms he's in the country illegally. Court records show Mejia had a DWI charge out of Wake County in 2020, but he was let out without a bond and then did not show up for court.
If they had never got out on bond, my brother would be alive today. And we wouldn't have to go through this.
Weighing that history, the Durham judge set Mejia's bond at $5 million. After court, Ferguson's family expressing relief.
And I praise God. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
They feel hopeful Mejia will remain behind bars as the case goes to conclusion.
He does not belong outside. He's going to hurt someone else again. And then what? Someone else has to die?
Court records showed the suspect and the victim lived in the same apartment complex, which is just steps away from the crash scene here. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News in Durham.
Dre, your thoughts?
So I've watched this several times, and over the weekend was the first time that I saw this video. And this incident happened a month ago. It's just picking up this month. It just became national news this month. But the problem is this city of Durham has sanctuary city policies. They are going to try to solve this problem by painting lines in the road. If you notice that road didn't have painted lines, they're going to try to solve this problem by putting in speed bumps. But there's nothing in the works to dealing with the illegal immigration problem. This guy had been on the run since 2020 for a DUI charge. And they did not get to this guy until he killed an American. Now, is it possible that he had a DUI at the time of the crash, of him hitting Mr. Ferguson Jr.? It's possible, but he ran. So we'll never know. However, I do think that we need to pressure Congress to take on immigration legislation. The things that Donald Trump is doing is great. The executive orders are fantastic. But until we get long-term immigration legislation, you're going to see things like this happen. Americans will continue to die.
Well, you know, my thoughts is most of these guys cannot even speak English, unless knowing they can read English. So the problem it is, how are you able to drive if you can't read the signs? If you don't know the rules of the road, you should not be on them. And this is the whole thing that I've been talking about to the American people and patriots across this country. It's time that we take a stand because these illegals are steady killing American citizens and walking out of the courtrooms with no accountability at all. Your thoughts, Steve?
Well, going on what Andre said, they're just now getting attention in the media about this. There's the first problem. Our media is sitting there siding with the illegal democratic process. So that education part of it, people knowing what's going on. The other thing is we've got laws on the books to stop. We don't need no more legislation. We need enforcement. And that's what Biden's administration did. They ignored all the laws. They opened the borders up. They made excuses for more and millions of illegals to come into this country. And now that we're enforcing the laws, Democrats are wanting to make that look bad. We talked, Dave and I have talked this before. The Democratic Party has hated this country from the founding. I've set out the guidelines all the way back with Thomas Jefferson when he was trying to make laws trying to get rid of slavery. And as soon as he died, what did the Democrats do? They tried to expand slavery to the West, and that's what created the Republican Party. Now we've got millions of people in this country that are committing crimes here illegally and given a free pass. And now that the Republicans and Trump is trying to correct that problem and follow the rule of law, guess what? They're making it all look bad, and the media is helping. We've got the laws need enforced, and the media needs to do both sides of the story, not one side.
Your thoughts, Randy?
I totally agree with Binky. You know, that's the problem. You know, if Congress just went ahead and said, you know what, we're going to ban on the books sanctuary cities, and the American people get to sue the city anytime there's a crime committed against them and bankrupt these cities, I guarantee you, Democrats will change their tune real quick because they're not being held accountable legally, morally, ethically, anything, or at the ballot box for that matter. The Democrat Party, they're going to realize that, hey, if the Republican Party actually grew a pair and started actually, passing some laws and actually coming after us and giving us culpability for this stuff, we might be in trouble. So we might want to chill out, but they're not doing that. So this is where we at right now. And that's a sad story. You know, there's no reason that man should have died at the hands of an illegal immigrant driving a car illegally at that. And no one, I'm sure people knew about it. People knew that he was doing this, and no one spoke up. That's the other problem we have in this country is people not speaking up, not intervening, and not taking holding others accountable within their community. That's the other problem that we're having. So until those things change, it's gonna be more of the same.
I want to add to Randy what he's just said. We have the ability to do that. It's called redress of grievances.
Yeah.
When enough of us people decide to start using the process that we put on government, we can fix that ourselves. And in Federalist Paper 16, the guardians of the Constitution are the people.
Well, the people.
And until we stand up and control what we created, nothing's going to get done by sitting there expecting government to fix the problems they're causing.
Absolutely.
But guys, it's like this. Here in Chicago, we have an idiot for a mayor and a buffoon as a governor. They have completely come out and made the illegals think that they have rights in this country. It was back up earlier in this year that we went to a pro se program to take a look at getting some funding for the work that we're doing out here. And accidentally, we walked into a program where illegals was there, and they was teaching the illegals how to avoid ICE. They was teaching them, what to do with the money. And I accidentally walked in with a Trump hat on, and they went freaking crazy. They thought I was part of ICE. And so, we went live across the country with that. But what's happening is this. There needs to be more, especially Black citizens, because they've been forced into in our community. You don't see them in the white community. You don't see them in the Italian community. You see them in the black community taking over things, just like they did when they raided the apartment building on South Shore. Over 600 illegals there, all gang members selling dope, and Brandon Johnson knew about it.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what they were doing, and yet and still he's covering, he's lying. And I've been calling on President Trump. Why don't they just arrest him? Because they have broken federal laws. And we need to really hold him accountable, because if this illegal had not been in the country, like Megan Boss, who was killed by an illegal here in Chicago, her head was cut off, she was put in ammonia in a tub, and the judge allowed this illegal to walk out the courtroom after he murdered this woman in such a way. And so these are the things that we really need to pay close attention to, because the black community is not progressing. They're not giving us nothing but a lot of lip service and hoping that black people feel sorry for these illegals and support them. That's what the No King Day was all about. You didn't hardly see any black people out there. These were paid protesters by George Soros and the Democratic Party. And I think right now the black community needs to unite, because we cannot afford to let the illegals be here, because what they're going to do, they're going to inhabit our community. They're going to open businesses. They've already been giving them homes. They're giving them cars. They're giving them money. They're giving them all sorts of stuff that they wouldn't even think about giving black people. And here we are, some of us are fighting for them. Your thoughts on that, Randy?
You know, here's the thing, Pastor, that people are not understanding. We're only going to tolerate so much craziness until we take matters into our own hands. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that with hyperbole either. I foresee that it's going to come to the point where we're going to be tired of these judges and these DAs and law enforcement not doing anything, not holding these illegals accountable. And then next thing you know, there's going to be bodies in the street. It's going to be like, okay, we're going to just wait outside the courthouse because they're going to be out in 5 minutes. So we're going to take matters into our own hands. And then now they're going to be like, whoa, you can't be doing this. We're going to enforce the law. It's like, well, you should have been enforcing the law. We wouldn't be at this point if you was enforcing the law already and actually doing your job. And then the other side to that coin is you're going to start seeing these people get voted out of office. And there's going to be there's going to be a paradigm shift that's going to happen not only in our judicial system, but in our electoral system, where you're going to have very extreme patriots taking the helm. I'm not talking about just regular patriots, and just people just God-loving country. I'm talking about the extreme ones that will, do crazy stuff to reestablish order back in this country. I don't want to see it go there. I just wish that what we have on the books is actually enforced. People actually understand the ramifications of their actions and say, hey, we need to chill out and get back to normalcy. But until then, this is the path that we're going down.
And Randy, I think that you're right in the fact that there will be Black Americans that take matters into their own hands, but we need to arm them with the proper tools. We need to ensure that they know that when they're putting somebody in office, what they're voting for and what policies matter. Because like Mr. Binky was saying, we do have laws in the books for immigration. However, the illegal immigrant that we're talking about, Wilmer Mejia, which Mejia in Spanish means Messiah, but I'm going to leave that there. Wilmer came into the country twice. He was been deported twice. So the enforcement was there. But what wasn't there was the policy that kept Wilmer from working, getting benefits, and also being able to have a safe place to live and be harbored safely in the United States. Those three things we can change in policies like E-Verify and HR2. And, another problem that we're having is people are coming in with these fake documents. HR2 deals with that. And so does E-Verify. So we have to focus on the policies. The yesteryear day of enforcement and depending on executive orders, those are great things. We do need enforcement in order to make sure that our policies are effective. But without the proper policies that are going to keep people from coming here in the first place, we're going to see the same deaths. We're going to see the same things happen over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You want something on that, Binky?
Well, I just, as they've been talking, we've got to stand up to this and make sure that this stuff's enforced. We got to make sure
Absolutely.
who we put in office is going to enforce that. And what I want, and just a second, Andrew, I want white, black, Latino, and Asian people. We've got to join together here instead of trying to be divided. And do the right thing and make sure these elected officials are doing the right thing. I apologize, Andrew. Go ahead.
But let me say this, and I'm going to play a clip after this. To the American people and patriots across this country, especially black citizens, there is no way under God's sun that they will be fighting for black people like this, because they didn't. I was talking to a person the other day, and they was talking about how it was so wrong for the illegals to be shipped out of here, how they were separating their families and all this and that. And I took offense to it, because did nobody say nothing when they were separating black families in this country and selling them off as slaves? Yep. Nobody said nothing, and nobody will continue to say anything about what's happening in the black community. We haven't seen the brown Mexicans in this city, in the country, come and help black folks who are killing each other. You haven't heard whites to come and say nothing, because as long as crime is contained in the black community, then nobody give a damn. So now you want to add illegals to this mix, and you expect for black people to circumvent themselves and say, hey, you know what? This is okay. We just going to stand with them no matter what. That's the idea that the Democrats want us to have. They want us to be part of this charade. And basically, guys, they're just stealing money. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Chicago and of the state, they just did an audit on his finances. How is it that you can garner $1.9 million that you won in Las Vegas? These are the things that I'm talking about, and they're going to come out because these politicians have been stealing money. Brandon Johnson got $1.7 billion that never was returned to the taxpayers. So as long as the taxpayers are not involved with this government and involved with the city, we're going to continue to see this. I got this clip I'm going to play, and I want your guys' thoughts on this.
Okay, so today I want to react to this video that's currently going viral on social media, and the left is losing their minds over it. They're saying, look, this is proof that ICE is the Gestapo. This is their fascist, tyrannical overreach, and I can't believe they did this. They're arresting their political opponents and all this garbage. And yet in reality, it's yet another example of a Democrat politician, in this case, a Chicago alderman by the name of Jessica Fuentes. Again, we're going to rename her the clown of the century after she made a complete fool out of herself and then was absolutely shocked when ICE put her in handcuffs after repeatedly obstructing law enforcement. As usual, it's a case of F around and find out. It's a case of left-wingers, who I constantly refer to as overgrown children, not really understanding the real world or the natural consequences of your actions. Hey, you get violent, you're gonna get arrested. If you obstruct law enforcement, you're gonna get arrested. If you demand a warrant, by the way, in a position where you have no authority to ask for one, like you don't have jurisdiction, you're just completely an irrelevant actor, you're just a freaking alderman here, right? You're not the president, then ICE has no necessity or legitimate need to give you that warrant. After, by the way, they've already shown the warrant to people and have already conducted the immigration raid, here you barge in at the end saying, show me the warrant, film for the cameras, political stunt. And they're just like, no, put you in handcuffs. Shut up. You're annoying. But anyways, that said, guys, we'll react to this. All right, I'll bring you this whole story. I'll show you what the local news is saying about it. And we'll actually start off by just playing the video because even, I think, alone, this gives you plenty of the context. But that said, guys, do us a favor. If you enjoy the content, Make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. That's the best way to support our work and ensure that we can keep bringing you these videos. And that said, let's just start off today's video by showing you what the left is posting, and you can see for yourself. So here's the caption on it. ICE arrested Chicago Alderman Jessica Fuentes inside a hospital emergency room simply for asking them to show a warrant for the man they detained. Again, when office in this country, just because you're like a city council member.
Let me get this to that place. Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure we get all of this.
You have a signed judicial warrant for him.
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me, please?
Signed judicial warrant for him.
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me? This is an older person who's being under arrest. I need my other staffer who's in the hallway by registration to come here, please.
You are hurting. I am asking.
Can somebody get my staffer, please?
This is a hospital. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? I am asking. I am asking. I did not touch you.
We told you to leave.
I did not touch you.
Now you're under arrest for impeding.
I did not touch you. I asked you if you had a signed judicial warrant for him. It is very simple. It is very simple. That man has constitutional rights. I did not touch you. It is a public space. I am not trespassing. I am asking you. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? It is a question, sir. You are an agent. You are a federal agent.
We do not need a
You are a
warrant for
federal
somebody.
agent. I am an elected official, and I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I'm the alderman of this.
Can you keep recording? I need a call.
I am asking.
Now, guys,
Exactly.
See, this is the thing that bothers me. This is a Chicago alderman, a woman, or whatever the hell it is, and they're acting like these people have rights. They have no constitutional rights, and that's what they're teaching these people and telling them, y'all got constitutional rights. And it's going to end up with a lot of people hurt because they have no rights. They have no business being here illegally, and they've already broken federal law. Dre?
Well, here's the problem, Pastor David. We're in a situation where too many people have taken an offense, and it's really starting to prevent them from making really the decision.
You started breaking up, Dre. The errors.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm saying that too many people have taken an offense to immigration policy, to the enforcement that ICE has been doing, and they've gotten so angry that they've started to put themselves on the pedestal and take all of their aggression out on ICE forces. And what we're seeing is just that people are crashing out, they're not thinking logically, and people with no authority are coming, asking for warrants and things of that nature. It makes no sense, and I'm glad they made an example of this alderman who was definitely in the wrong and took her away, because she needed to really think about her actions and be prosecuted for impeding an ICE investigation.
Randy?
I totally agree with Andre. The thing is, even if a person does have constitutional rights, right? Even if the person is here legally, if ICE, see, this is the thing, this is the misnomer that people don't understand. Also, ICE also can detain U.S. citizens as well. So people forget that. So when they put that in the media, someone saw ICE is arresting U.S. citizens. They technically can. So they're law enforcement. Hello. So the idea that she's asking him, for a warrant and asking, or saying that you're violating his constitutional rights. It's like, ma'am, you see, I got your ass in handcuffs, right? So you might want to shut up right now.
Yeah.
You would think 2 and 2 would have, clicked in her head. But outside of all of that, I'll just say this. The idea that she thought that she has some kind of authority to interdict in a legal detainment of somebody else lets you know she doesn't know anything about the law. And the people that elected her don't know anything about the law. And they just said, hey, she's a Hispanic lesbian. let's elect her. You know, she's a DEI hire, and that's what that showed right there. So,
Mr. Binky, your thoughts?
Well, I just wonder how she'd react to all the people. Like you were involved with driving while black, right? What would her response be about a warrant when people are being stopped without a driver's license or expired sticker on their license plate, or no insurance, or having a joint in their pocket? What about all these citizens that are being arrested, thrown in jail, having their property taken from them? How would she feel about that? Why don't she want to argue and fix that problem?
But that is true. Black people have suffered at the hands of police officers ever since we've been over here. You know, with the fact that we get racially profiled when we're driving, we get racially profiled when we go to stores to spend our money. This has been a hell of a road for Black people. And now to see illegals here being brash, acting like they're citizens of this country, and coming against ICE, all the protests, you would have never, if Black people had a protest like that, it would have been a whole bunch of Black people locked the hell up in jail. And so we can see how the Democrats are playing to these illegals and trying to tell them that they're here legally, and that is definitely not the case. Now I got another clip I want to play, man, because we even have illegals that are here who are police officers. Check this out.
What?
Illinois at the center of President Trump's immigration crackdown, and one of the latest ICE arrests there might surprise you. Rajul Bajovic was working as a sworn police officer with the Hanover Park Police Department. Just one problem. He was visiting from Montenegro on a tourist visa and required to leave the United States over 10 years ago. Yet just this August, he graduated from the police academy and was given a badge and a gun. The town says he was cleared to work. Quote, all information we received from the federal government indicated that Officer Bojovic is legally authorized to work in the United States as a police officer. But now the illegal alien remains in DHS custody. Here to discuss the disturbing details more, former acting ICE director Jonathan Fahey. Great to have you here, Jonathan. You know, I want to also note that the town said that this individual had a work authorization card issued by the federal government. Not only did he have this card from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the card was valid and recently renewed, and he also passed a background check. How does this happen?
I'm highly skeptical of what the town is saying on this, because we know in Illinois they are basically full-on illegal immigrants. And remember, this is J.D. Pritzker signed a bill, I believe it was July of 2023, allowing non-citizens to be police officers. Amazingly enough, that you would have even non-citizens being police officers. But they knew this type of thing would happen. We know how Chicago, we know how Illinois treats illegal aliens, which is typically the same or better than American citizens. So I find it skeptical that there was any serious vetting. But it's a real problem that we would even have a system where non-citizens could be police officers. But J.D. Pritzker, again, signed this into law because they always put illegal aliens and non-citizens ahead of citizens.
You know, Jonathan, I also want to note, we've covered on this program multiple times the Des Moines County superintendent who was also here illegally. We have his picture. We'll pull it up. And while you address that matter, I also want to scroll his history of criminal conduct. You know, in this case, they said that they were deceived. They don't assert that the federal government said he could be here. But how many of these individuals do you think are working in police departments and teaching our students?
I think there are an awful lot of them, because that's also a school system which, again, was pro-illegal immigrant and doing everything they can probably to not find out, or even if they knew, they looked the other way. So I think there's a lot of them out there, and it's really shameful because, again, these jobs, one, should be for Americans, but also people that we should have good enough vetting, particularly for law enforcement, to make sure we have people legally here, and they really should be citizens. It's utter nonsense, and it's, again, people... J.D. Pritzker, other people try to blur the lines between illegal aliens and citizens all the time, and this is just another example of that.
Yeah, I want to play a clip from Pritzker. He seems to have more of a problem with American citizens like Stephen Miller than some of these illegal immigrants in his town. Let's listen to this.
The people who serve for the president, including all the way down to ICE agents, can be held accountable when there's a change of administration. Stephen Miller is clearly ordering people to break the law. So, you know, he should know that, yeah, it may be 3 years from now that he is held accountable, but make sure, I think it's important for them to know that whatever they do now, it's not like we're going to forget.
So Pritzker wants to arrest Americans now?
Yeah, exactly. He's basically threatening Stephen Miller and other people if they continue doing their job, which is enforcing federal law, federal immigration law. He's going to find a way to harm them. So it really is, you know, threatening them. Again, the people that are putting their lives on the line, these ICE agents, putting them at greater danger and threatening to arrest them for doing their job. You really can't think of many examples in American history where a governor is standing in the way of federal law being enforced to this degree. And it really shows not only a lot sort of bad things about J.D. Pritzker, but where the Democratic Party is, because he wants to be the Democratic nominee for president. So he knows he has to be so radical on this issue, but not only favoring illegal immigration at every level, but also to harm the people trying to enforce it. And it's just really staggering if you think about it. But again, what he is doing and what Brandon Johnson is doing is really skirting the line of alien harboring and other types of things.
Yep, law-abiding Americans. He wants to go after them. Thank you, Jonathan.
Guys, your thoughts on it?
Go ahead, I'll go last.
All right. Well, what we're seeing right now is that people have become numb to immigration policy. Their ears don't hear and their eyes are closed. And we see with these politicians that are trying to prosecute ICE officers. We see with these schools looking the other way on a superintendent who voted illegally, who purchased a gun illegally, and is not a legal citizen in this country. We also see an illegal alien in the police force in Chicago. This individual, and I hope that you guys don't forget, the viewers of this show, don't forget that Trump is not just arresting black and brown people. This guy was a white man, okay? So they're getting arrested too. If you're here illegally, you're getting arrested. Well,
exactly.
Go ahead, Randy.
I was just agreeing with you. I was saying, exactly. And you know, that's the thing. This is the thing that Americans who are pro illegal immigrants, one thing they don't get is you can't go to any country in the world and do this stunt.
That's
you just can't. You can't. So why should we allow it? You know, and that's number one. Number two, those that have such sympathy for these illegal aliens, how about you go sponsor them? Go out and go to the immigration office and say, hey, I will pay for the citizenship status of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and they can come live with me, and I would take care of them. Go ahead and do that if you care so
Make them legal.
much.
Yeah.
I challenge Congress. Congress, if you're listening to me today, go and make a bill and say, hey, we will authorize as a path to citizenship that any American citizen can sponsor an illegal alien, and they will bear the total cost and responsibility of said illegal alien. There will be no tax burden on the American people. It's all solely will be on that person. Make a bill and see how Democrats will react to it.
No one would support it.
Nope, nobody would support it. Bing.
As you heard Pegster, he said ICE can be held accountable, right? And under another administration, that's retaliatory legislation now, because he's telling you, well, you might get by with it now, but later, when we got a new administration, we don't live under a democracy, Pegster. We live under a republic. And that means you've got the rules to follow, not us. And
that's right.
I want to remind Pegster also, too, about being arrested and paying the price for doing something illegal. The fines for harboring an illegal, aiding and abetting are potentially exceeding $500,000, imprisonment up to 10 years or even life, right? in cases where bodily harm or death occurs, asset forfeiture. Mr. Pegster, Mr. Governor, if ICE can be held accountable under the next administration, you can be held accountable under this administration.
That's right.
Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, and Pam Bondi, where's the arrest warrants? There's the fines, there's the penalties, and there's the criminal. Let's take care of it.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Binky, because I appreciate Governor Pigster for playing his hand, because just like the Biden administration did and gave immunity to his family, Trump could possibly give immunity to ICE now that we know that they're going to try to prosecute them all.
Good point. You know, the sad thing of it is that this governor and mayor of Chicago should have been already arrested. Steve, you just put down the law, what aiding and abetting does, you know, and President Trump, I know you're going to watch the show. Why don't you just make the move and arrest Governor Pritzker and forfeit all of his millions of dollars that he's stolen, because he has really abated. They could take his mansion, they can take all his money, they can get those hotels that he got. President Trump, arrest Governor Pritzker and show the world that he's not this great person that's fighting for illegals. They haven't been fighting for black people like this in the state of Illinois at all. They still got a lot of black men locked up in prison that was arrested for small things under the RICO Act, like Larry Hoover. He got a clemency on Pritzker's desk after we was able to remove the 6 federal charges. Trump signed them and commuted the sentence. J.B. Pritzker is holding Larry Hoover still in jail and saying that, well, maybe I will and maybe I won't. But to the people of Chicago, especially black citizens, you see what he's doing for the illegals. He put his own self in jeopardy for the illegals and don't give a shit about black people. And he shows that because the jails are full of black men and women who are in jail and prisons for small crimes. Now, I got one more clip I'm going to play, guys, and I want your reactions on this. This is a situation to where an illegal family got caught. And I want to say this. What they're doing here in Illinois and across the country, they're creating these vans with ladders on them like they're illegally working in this country, and yet they're bringing more illegals in. And this clip is going to show that. I had it.
Let me talk to my husband.
Do not push him.
Don't push me.
I'm pushing you. Get out.
Stop playing games. Get out of the car.
On March 24, 2025, federal agents in Rochester moved to detain 25-year-old Wilson Galvin Lopez, only to find his brother and father, also without legal status, traveling with him. The father quickly locked the van's doors and called his wife, who rushed to the...
Now, guys, I want to say this right quick. You see these vans, how these vans got the ladders on them? These are that's the camouflage that they're using, acting like they're workers, and they're continuing to bring more illegals into the country. So to ICE, Tom Homan, I guess you guys should pick up on this. You need to start stopping these vans with illegals in them, and you'll find what you're looking for. Let me finish this off.
Scene, prepared to do whatever it took to save her family from deportation.
Hey, who is this to you, miss?
This is my husband.
All right, can you just... Oh, no, listen. We just came here to assist. Obviously, we had nothing to do with this.
Big ass thing. We got our rights, please.
Yes, go on.
Please just go.
Hold on a second. We're called here because of this government thing.
Yeah, but they're not criminals.
I know. No one's saying... I'm just here to help.
He did shut it off, though. He was right in the engine for a while.
Come on, man. I'm gonna break the window if you don't. You just get out so I don't have to break the window.
The issue is, it sounds like they need him to come out of the car, and him closing the door and doing all this.
Take him to Batavia.
Okay, but now you're gonna have a lot of officers on scene because they asked us to come 77, which means lights and sirens. So look at all these cars now coming.
You gotta come out. Both of you. You have to step out of the vehicle.
All he has to do is get out of the vehicle. Either way, in the end, he's gonna have to come out. I would rather do it without force.
Criminals, please. We are right.
They've decided that whatever their situation is, that he needs to get out of the vehicle, and they're going to take him to wherever they got to go. him doing what he's doing is just causing a big scene and causing a lot worse.
Bro, just come on. Let's go. You got window punch? Someone? You got one? Oh, she's got it. I got him. I'm gonna break it. Get out. Just hop out, man. No, hop out.
So here's what's gonna happen. If he doesn't get out of the car, we're gonna break the window and drag him out. No one wants to do that.
I don't have any money for
Just watch these guys. Alright, but so that may make you upset, and I understand. Well, here's the issue. Whatever their situation is, they're going to ask him to come out of the vehicle. Instead of yelling at him,
He's got to hop out. Why? Because I said so. He's okay. Just get out. It's no big deal. He's okay. He's okay. You're all right. Get out. He's not going anywhere. Tell him to open the door back there. Open the door.
enough. Criminal!
Open the door!
Open the door now! Let me talk to my husband!
Do not push him.
Don't push me.
I'm pushing you. You do not touch my officers. You understand me?
Do
not touch my officers.
I'm a woman!
I don't care.
You can't touch
I don't
me.
care. I just did. Cut it out. At your age. Let them pull him out. Back up, please. Back up, please. Back up, please.
Why are you pushing me
We're
off?
not pushing you.
Open the door now.
Let me talk to my husband.
Get out of the car now. Get out. Stop playing games. Get out of the car. Hands by your back.
No pelee. What are you doing? Over there. What do you want to do?
Want me to put handcuffs? Get back. Just please get back. Get back there.
Tranquilo.
No, we're doing good.
Stop. Put that down.
Okay, guys, let me say this. How the hell you hollering about somebody illegal, that they're not illegal, that they're here working and all of that? That doesn't matter. And people are watching this video, they're feeling sorry for the illegals, and see how they're camouflaging. They got a truck there, like they're working, they got ladders on the truck, and they're here illegally, steady bringing other people in, not really trying to abide by the law or respect the laws of this country. And the fact of the matter is, you see what the alderman said, well, you know what? They got constitutional rights. They do not have constitutional rights. If you are here in this country illegally, you need to self-deport. But don't think that you're going to sit here and be in this country illegally and that the police officers are not going to do their job. ICE is doing their job, and this is what should happen across this country. Illegals should not be in our country illegally, and if they want to come to our country, they need to come the proper way through the proper channels and become citizens. Your thought, Randy?
First off, she lucky that she didn't get arrested right out the gate. I would have been, if I was there, if I was that ICE agent, she would have got handcuffed so fast, her head would have spun. I'd be like, "Are you illegal? Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes or no?" And click. It wouldn't even matter because hey, you took too long to answer because you shouldn't even been interfering. That's number one. Number two, for these guys to be piled up in a van like that and locking doors and all that, that's spelled guilty right out the gate. Versus just saying, "Hey, oh, this is a misunderstanding. I'm sorry. What can we do to make this right?" that was just 1 or 2 officers at first. Now you got like 50 there. They could have easily diffused that situation and probably would have been let go. But then again, I believe one of them had a warrant for their arrest or something like that. So they made the situation worse. And unfortunately, this is what we're seeing across the country is people are intervening or trying to intervene, because it was a similar situation in Chicago where 2 ICE agents was trying to arrest a guy in the middle of the street in Chicago, and the whole community came out there and they like helped the guy get away. They like grabbed the officers and all kinds of stuff. See, that kind of situation there, that will create another Operation Midway Blitz. You know, in my opinion, I'd be like, oh, okay, all y'all want to get involved in this? Cool, we'll be back. Wait till nightfall and storm the whole entire city. But hey, it is what it is, and this is where we at right now. So I'm all for it. Kudos to the ICE officers. Keep doing what you're doing,
Dre.
So in that video, we see that the ICE officers took a lot of care to be respectful to the people that are involved.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're not talking about is the crash out. The lady was crashing out, and she was treating it as if it was a permanent separation from her husband, that we were sending her husband to his death by deporting him. This is what people need to get. It is not a permanent separation. We are just separating you out of this country. We're forcing you to go back to your country. And my whole thing is Richard Ferguson Jr., who we saw, who was exiting a bus at 11 p.m., got hit by an illegal alien and was permanently separated from his brother and 9 other siblings. He was a pillar in his community. His brother said that he was his spiritual advisor, not just his best friend, but his spiritual advisor. So there's someone that's helping people get over and overcome drug addictions. He probably did the same thing for people in their community. We lost a very good person, and these people are crashing out because they have to go back to their country. That is crap. We need to focus on the policies that are going to keep people out of here, that are going to keep people from being able to make a living in the United States illegally.
Mr. Binky?
Yeah, what bothers me is we got to watch videos like that. They shouldn't have been here to have to watch videos like that. You know, and as Randy said, you know, you got people coming out trying to stop ICE from doing their job. California, Newsom and Bass are putting out into the public about apps.
Messages. Yep.
That's endangering. That's impeding.
Yes.
What else? I mean, how arrogant do these Democrats believe they can get before they're actually having to be arrested? And that's what needs to be done, because once they start getting arrested, the rest of them is going to back down.
Mm-hmm.
And the Supreme Court needs to make sure, and I think I said this a couple of weeks ago when I was on, we need to get this sanctuary city into a court, into the Supreme Court, and make the decision known that sanctuary cities and states cannot exist when there is laws on the books. Plain and simple.
Well, you know, my thing of it is that when you see this type of activity going on, and we've already seen how the alderman in Chicago that got arrested screaming about they got constitutional rights. That's what pisses me off, because Black people have had constitutional rights since we've been here. And how many Black men have been killed on a traffic stop like this? So these officers are being really nice. There's Black men who have been killed because they didn't open the car door. Black men and women have been pulled out of their vehicles, thrown on the ground, and stomped
in the face.
Yeah, and stomped to the dirt, and all of that. And so to the Black citizens in this country, we need to sit the hell down and stay away from this situation and let the federal government do their job.
Absolutely.
We have no business trying to intervene with what they're doing, because that's what the Democrats want. They want Black people to get all emotional. And I say this all the time. Black people, we have to stop getting emotional and stand firm on things that we need to stand firm on, because you might feel sorry for this woman, But I guess what? If it's a black man that got a warrant and the police stop him, his ass could end up shot to death if he didn't come out of his car, if he didn't participate with the officer saying, because I got brothers locked up right now. I've seen black men that's in the cemetery because they didn't comply completely with the police officers. Exactly. And so the black community needs to realize that these people are not here for us. They're not going to do nothing to help black people at all. And the Democratic Party should be disbanded. J.B. Pritzker should be arrested. All of this stuff should be forfeited. Brandon Johnson should be arrested. The whole Democratic Party needs to be destroyed and moved out of this country because they don't follow the Constitution, nor do they want to. It's all about what they want to do. They make the laws as they go along, and that's bad for the United States citizens and the patriots across this country. Bink, what do you think?
Well, you just talked about, Pegster losing his assets and this and that. Well, I want everybody to understand, when you go into a courtroom, when an American goes into a courtroom over a traffic violation or a victimless crime, what is the intention of a fine? What's the intention of civil asset forfeiture? That's to make you pay a price for not obeying a government law. They take stuff away from you to make you understand what happens when you don't follow a law.
Yep.
So how is it government is immune to the same thing that they've subjected the people to for decades?
Exactly.
There was an argument about qualified immunity. Immunity only gives you an unrestricted power because you can abuse that power and nothing will happen to you. And that's what we're seeing today is we've got government, we've got judges that are abusing their powers. And when they do, they don't get held accountable for it or not enough. Let me put it that way. So instead of us having to be burdened by, in Illinois, there's 283,000 laws that we've got to abide by. The laws on the Constitution were created for government, not the people. So when government steps outside their authority, they've got to pay the price too. There should be no immunity for a public servant. You mess up, you mess up.
Randy, your last thoughts, man. We got to get out of here.
Big is spot on. I totally agree. We should get rid of qualified immunity for elected officials, police officers, law enforcement. There should be no such thing as qualified immunity. At the end of the day, if you're doing your job properly, then
there you go.
You're immune. There you go. So
there you go.
That's what I got.
Dre?
Policies matter, immigration policies matter, and American lives matter. And we have to pressure Congress to take a stand and make long-term immigration reform.
Well, folks, we glad you tuned in. We want you to share it around. Binky, you got something else you want to say? Go ahead.
No, absolutely not.
And we're going to continue to bring this news to you, to the American people and patriots across this country. This is what this whole shutdown is about. This shutdown has not been about the fact that the Republicans wanted to shut the government down, but the Democrats are trying to deal with this whole thing and this shutdown because they've already submitted the clean bill so that it can get through and we reopen our government. But the Democrats themselves do not want this government open unless they can give illegals more money and they can continue to take rights from the American citizens and give to these people. And this is just totally wrong. Guys, I want to thank you for showing up today, man. You guys have a good one, and we'll be talking real soon. Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. Let me say this. These are my last words. The last clip that we played about the illegals being taken out the van, it is sort of heart-wrenching. But this situation was created by the Democrats that will continue to allow them to live in our country, to teach them as if they have rights in this country, and they do not. To the illegals that are here in this country today, it is time for you to go home. It's time for you to pack up your bags and get on a plane and go to where you came from, and stop trying to force your lifestyle and what you want to do in a country that has rules. And in saying that, I'm going to say this to the American people and patriots across this country. It's time for us to stand up against what we are seeing, all this illegal activity that J.B. Pritzker's doing. He's putting people's lives in harm's. And President Trump, when you watch this show, I'm begging you, arrest J.B. Pritzker, arrest Brandon Johnson, and take the assets that they have and give them back to the American people. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.